Wonderful ladies, I am super excited that you follow my spirit, because when my spirit tells me to do something, I just kind of go out and say, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, guess what's happening today? So, today I was really kind of motivated to do a back to business call, and, the truth be told, I did it around the same time last year. As soon as the kids go back to school, I'm like, I'm into a back to business call. So, again, I'm really excited to have you all here. And it's funny that, you mentioned the YouTube channel, because I follow the comments that you guys have on the BBWO blog and Sister Sense, and people are saying, when are you going to do another webinar? When are you going to host another session? So I said, you know what, I'm going to do this call today and kind of kick off back to business, back to school in a big way. As I mentioned before, if you are just joining the call, definitely hit *6 so that you can mute your line and it's nice and quiet and clear. Of course, make sure you've got your pen and your pad. I've got some wonderful information that I want to share with you all today. And you know what, like I said, you kind of beat me to the punch, Antoinette. You talked about She Rocks the Web, which a couple of months ago, I think about 4 months ago to be exact, I hosted the She Rocks the Web 3-day weekend workshop here in North Carolina, really talking about different money and marketing strategies that women in my circle could use to help promote themselves online. And so today the topic is moving forward, creating better businesses online. And so essentially I'm going to be pulling a lot from She Rocks the Web and sharing some wonderful nuggets with you. As I mentioned before, if you're just coming in, you can watch the clips from She Rocks the Web, and they're on YouTube. There are a couple of interesting information clips there, and that's youtube.com /L Henry. That's my YouTube channel, and then you can find the She Rocks the Web playlist there, as well as lots of other wonderful videos that I have. So today, I want to kind of kick things off by talking about a special letter. Every time I do something, I try to create a letter that I can focus on. So for Sister Sense, it's M, because I'm always talking about money, marketing, and motivation. So I like to keep it simple. And for my business, I'm talking about my 3 Ps. I don't know if you ever read my Plan to Profit Blueprint, and it's essentially about creating a plan, learning how to please customers, and then your profit. So today, the letter is C, because I kind of want to focus on 5 fundamental things that you can do to create better businesses online. So I'm going to start off by telling you a little story, but before I do, I wanted to do a group activity with you all. So hopefully you remember to hit that *6 key so you can mute yourself and there's no back noise and everybody can hear me really clearly. I want you to, on your paper, write C and create kind of like a flow chart, if you will. Just take a few minutes and just kind of think about any words that start with C in relation to yourself and your business. And this is an activity that I like to do, like I said, when I think about Sister Sense. It's about money, marketing, and motivation, to kind of get the juices flowing in my brain and really think about those key words that pop into mind when I think about a specific topic. So I want you to take that letter C again and kind of just start, taking little arrows off of the C and thinking about words in relation to yourself and your business that start with that letter, because we're going to talk about 5 very important topics today. So while you're doing that, and I definitely want to hear some of those C's later on in this call when I open it up for discussion, I want to share this story with you. A few weeks back, I found myself watching Oprah's masterclass, and she actually had Jay-Z on the class. Truth be told, I was on the OWN network because I was waiting to watch Rihanna, her interview, and then I ended up finding the master class with Jay-Z, and it turned out to be really interesting. I thought, some of the concepts that he talked about were things that I would like to share today on this call. So there were 2 things that he said that I think you need to take note of. First thing, he said, I always told myself I was going to be a millionaire at 30 years old. I just didn't know how I was going to do it. And I thought that was really interesting. He was a little kid and he had this mindset. And my hubby has this mindset too. As soon as I hit 30, I'm going to be a millionaire. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to get it done. Number 2, he said, when I got into hip-hop, no record label would sign me, so I decided to create my own. And it resonated with me because, a lot of times people go into whatever industry they go into hoping to get recognized in one way, shape, or form, to get established on one level or another. And all the doors just keep getting shut in their face. Like, no, sorry, yeah, that's great, but not what we're looking for. No, 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 no. And even though this happened, rather than kind of just throw in the towel, he said, you know what, if these labels aren't going to sign me, I'm just that good, I'm going to create my own. And so the first big C that I kind of want you to think about today is claim, okay? And I think about claim, and I talk about I want you to claim it being that one thing that you believe is going to help you and your business get to the next level, okay? So when I think about this with respect to Jay-Z, he did not wait to get recognized to become the multimillionaire that he is today. You know, he named his goal and he claimed it. So there are two things here. One, when he said he wanted to be a millionaire, really the buck could have stopped here, because a lot of people say, you know, I want to be rich, I want to be a millionaire, I want to be successful, but they don't make it specific when they talk about the goals and how they're actually going to turn that, you know, that dream into an actual reality. And so when I talk about that big C, which is to claim it, a part of it is kind of like the, you know, prefacing the big C is to name it. You really have to name the goal that you want to set for yourself and your business, and then talk about the different things that you're going to do to claim it. So for him, for Jay-Z, he wanted to be a millionaire, and then he figured out that in order for him to do that, he could use his talent in writing poetry and hip-hop to take him to the next level. Now, when I did She Rocks the Web, and maybe you watch one of those videos, one of the ladies, she said, you know, one of the things that I learned at She Rocks the Web is that I have to set very specific goals in order to get more things accomplished in my business. And now it's the fall, and the year is quickly ending, and you have to say to yourself, okay, well, what are the things that I was able to accomplish? Not because I fell into things, but because I strategically planned, and I said, this is what I want to do. I'm claiming this year. I'm going to make this happen. So, you know, the first activity I said for you was to kind of take that C and then start, you know, jotting down some words that resonated with you, right? The next thing I want you to do is to really think about one thing that you want to claim, one thing that you believe is going to help you and your business get to the next level. Because in order for us to see progress and create better businesses, it can't just be arbitrarily wanting to be more successful or wanting more customers, wanting more visibility. It has to be something very specific and tangible that we can work towards. And I may not know you that well or your business that well. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. There are quite a few women on the call right now, but you know your business better than anyone, and you right now can just kind of internally pinpoint something that you feel really is going to help you move your business forward and to the next level. So like I said before, if you're just joining this call, I want to make sure you hit *6 so that you can mute yourself and it's nice and clear. I want to make sure that everybody can hear and clearly take notes. And, of course, once we get to Q&A, you can unmute yourself. So on this topic of naming it and claiming it, I really always talk about practicing what you preach, and I always do what I tell other people to do. And so creating She Rocks the Web for me was naming and claiming my vision. Very long time ago, said to myself, I want to have my own event. I want to have an opportunity to get up and really share the information that I have, not just via the videos and via the posts and the blogs online, but live and in person. How am I going to do that? And I just, you know, had this energy and this vision that I wanted to create an event that people could come to. Now, one of the wonderful women in my circle, you know, we had a discussion. We have these little powwows, and we met up, and she was talking about her frustrations because she had a book, and, you know, she shared the information in the book. She wrote it, got everything out, and said, you know what, I really expected that once I created the book, this opportunity, you know, or I should say series of opportunities would open up for me to start speaking, and it hasn't happened. It's really kind of discouraging. And I said, well, look, if you want to start speaking, I want you to start speaking. So she looked at me like I was crazy, but I said, no, seriously, in order for you to actually make this happen, you have to take the initiative to do what you need to do outside of just kind of waiting for people to bring speaking engagements and opportunities to you. So I said, okay, we've got my local Power Circle group here, and we get together and we network, and this is the perfect venue for you to create a space to host your first workshop. And, you know, it's funny because I was planning the agenda and writing, and I looked in the mailbox and I saw her letter, and she said to me, LaShanda, I sent this to you because I just want to say thank you so much for helping me host my first workshop. I believe that the energy we put out in the world, we get back. And when you claim what you want, and you specifically start to put things in action, all of a sudden the world will open up opportunities that you didn't know because you took the first step to move forward. And so when I say these are big C's for me, they are really big C's because you don't know what God has in store for you. And I get really spiritual when it comes to my business because I believe everything is interconnected. We don't know what he has in store for us. But again, when you actually just kind of look within yourself and you claim what you believe is going to help you get to the next level, then you strategically start to figure out, okay, well, how can I make this happen? Things definitely do happen in your business, okay? So that's one thing that I want you to think about. The first thing I should say, I want you to claim that vision for yourself. Write it down, and definitely once we get to Q&A and discussions, if you want to tell me those visions, I would love to hear them. Number 2 on the big C list is collaboration. This is a big one, okay? I am and forever will be a black.female.woman.entrepreneur. Those are 4 very big things when it comes to me. I'm black, female, I'm a mom, and I'm an entrepreneur. I combine these 4 words because to me it means, and it resonates for a lot of you who feel the same way, working hard, long hours alone. You know, I do have my son's father, and, you know, I do find people or, you know, events in my life to tap into. But, you know, when you start a business on a small budget, you are going to spend a lot of time working long hours alone, especially when you're a mom and you've got a 9-to-5 or anything else that's going on in your life that makes getting to where you want to be harder. And so I take it very, very, how do I put this? I think it's very important to stress the big C of collaborations because what I've learned is that in my 10-plus years of working online, it took me a long time, and it takes too long, I should say, to get where you want to be when you do it alone. So on the topic of creating better businesses, you want to think about one person, okay? And I want you to maybe it may take a little bit more time than the little time I give you between these little activities that we have on this call, but I want you to think about one person you can potentially collaborate with so together you can achieve a common goal. I definitely see in others, and I've seen it in myself, what it looks like when you get maxed out and you try to do every single thing for your family and also for your business because, you know, whether it be finances, time, or resources, you don't have other people or other funds to tap into. But sometimes you really have to prioritize thinking about who you can potentially collaborate with so that you can get further faster. And when I think about this, I'm going to tell you another story. Last week I attended a great event here in Charlotte. It was the 2020 Business Forum, and this was a collaborative effort between Black Enterprise and Walmart, okay? And so when I went to this BE event in Charlotte, I found out that Walmart actually has quite a few initiatives for women and business entrepreneurs. And some of you probably have seen the whole Get on the Shelf initiative that they were doing. But case in point, they have these different initiatives for entrepreneurs and women business owners. And as you all know, Black Enterprise is big on entrepreneurship. And so they came together, created a collaboration, and they're doing a series of these workshops. And they're actually free, these 2020 Vision Forums in different states. I think they've done 8 so far. So first and foremost, I would say this. If you're not connected to BE in one way, shape, or form, you should be, whether it be their Facebook fan page, which is Black Enterprise, or you signed up via the website, so that when they do have events like this and it comes locally to you, you take advantage of that. I'm definitely big on going to events. I'm actually going to be speaking at Blogalicious in Vegas this coming September. But if you go to events, you know that it can be pretty pricey between airfare and hotel and all that other good stuff. So when they come to your town and the event is free, definitely a great opportunity to go. But my point here being, Black Enterprise and Walmart created a collaboration, and it worked really well to help further their goal of getting entrepreneurs out and getting them aware of the different resources and material that's out there, okay? And so, again, what I want you to do is to sit down and think about who you can potentially collaborate with so that you can further your own personal business initiatives. Now, while I was at Black Enterprise, there were some wonderful speakers, and I'm going to talk about one of them, which is Lisa Price, the founder of Carol's Daughter. I don't know if you saw, but as soon as I got off, out of Charlotte, I started blogging about all the wonderful speakers. I did a couple of interviews, and I have a photo of me and Lisa Price, and that's kind of like my new prized possession. So if you go to sistersense.com, you can watch the interviews and even read the articles, the last one being 5 things I learned about small business from Lisa Price. So today I want to talk to you about what Lisa said with respect to connecting with bigger established brands. Now, in that particular blog, I talked about, with Carol's Daughter, because I'm a Brooklyn girl. I live in North Carolina now, but I'm a Brooklyn girl. And I remember when Lisa Price, she did her first collaboration with Jada Pinkett and Mary J. Blige. Then she worked her way up and she started working with brands. She got into Sephora. So for me, it was a big thing when I saw Carol's Daughter in the Sephora on 34th Street. And then when she got into Macy's, it was a bigger thing. And then I saw her on HSN, which is huge. And the point being, when she was at the BE event, it was an opportunity for us to really sit and listen to her experience as a Black woman, mom, entrepreneur, say, well, look, this is how I got to work with these bigger brands. Now, there are 2 things that she said that I want to share with you, especially for those of you who didn't have an opportunity to attend this particular event. One, she said that brands, when they make these collaborations with business owners and entrepreneurs, they are looking for one of 2 things. They're either looking for you to get them a completely new customer, someone who has never heard about them or their business, or they're looking to get a customer that they already have, but they don't buy that particular product, so they want that customer to stay in their venue longer via whatever partnership that they create with you. So she talked about, for example, when she got Carol's Daughter into Sephora, which is actually the Sephora shops, they've got a lot of cosmetic and beauty products. She brought a new audience to them that wasn't necessarily, maybe they bought 1 or 2 things at Sephora, but not consistently. So she brought a new audience to Sephora. And then when she got into Macy's, she talked about the fact that, yes, everybody shops at Macy's, right? But, Carol's Daughter, she has a lot of natural beauty products, a lot of hair care products. So some of the Macy's customers who were going there maybe for shoes or for clothing, they necessarily not going there for their hair products. But now that she's branded, she's collaborated with them, wonderful to have all the new people on the call. Again, as soon as you join the call, please hit *6 so you can mute yourself. Quite a few ladies coming in. I'm really excited about that. But as I was saying, talking about Carol's Daughter, when she started the collaboration with Macy's, she got old pre-existing customers to buy something new. So they weren't buying their hair care products and in some cases beauty products with Macy's. But now that Carol's Daughter was there, they started to do that. Now, long story short, I say this to say, when you think about one person that you could potentially do a collaboration with, you want to think about a few things. One, who do you think you could, quote, unquote, realistically collaborate with at this point? Okay? That's very important, realistically, in quotes. Because, I'm talking about Carol's Daughter. She's now got a multi-million-dollar business, and obviously she's collaborating with these big established brands. one of the things that she also mentioned is in order for you to get to the bigger brands, you have to work your way up the chain. So you've got to think about who you can realistically partner at this point in time in your business, wherever your business is right now, right? We all want to partner with Oprah, but I don't know if we can get access to her right now. And really the key to creating realistic quality change in your business is doing those things that you can actually implement. So think about who you could potentially realistically collaborate with. That's number one. Number two, what would you bring to the table in that collaboration? So she talked about either bringing them a new customer or having an old customer shop in a different way. That's a great example. When you think about that person before you even approach them, it's not, hey, I love what you do. Can you work with me? You already come to the table and say, wow, you got some great stuff. I've got this going on. I think we could work together, and this is how, okay? Because keep in mind, you're busy in your business, they're busy in theirs. Everybody has to be clear, specific, and concise if they want to implement and get the ball rolling sooner than later, okay? And so those are some things that I want you to keep in mind when it comes to creating collaborations with people. Now, before I move on to number 3, big C, I want to take a minute and talk about sales, right? Because obviously better businesses are built on consistent and steady sales. Keep in mind that when you create collaborations with people, you're connecting your brand to somebody else's brand. And so I talked about at the beginning of this call that really I was pulling in some of the concepts that I talk about at She Rocks the Web, my 3-day workshop that I held here in North Carolina a couple of months ago. And quite a few people said to me, LaShanda, I want you to do a webinar. Can you please do a webinar? And I said, no, I don't want to do it because I really want to do something live. I'm going to talk about the significance of really meeting people one-on-one in a little bit. But, I twisted my arm and I said, you know what, I'm going to start doing webinar workshops now that I did the first live one here in North Carolina. So in a couple of weeks, registration is now open, but in a couple of weeks I'm going to start doing webinars pulling from She Rocks the Web, and all that information is on sherockstheweb.com. And so in one of the sessions I talk about sales and sales triggers. There are a lot of different things that motivate us to buy something, right? And so today I bought a few things that I shouldn't have bought because I was hungry. Sometimes hunger motivates us to buy things. But there are a lot of quote-unquote sales triggers, and as a business owner, you need to be conscious of what these sales triggers are because these are things that will motivate your customers to buy. So on the topic of collaborations, one sales trigger that I'm going to talk about today is brand association. So when your brand is associated with a brand that maybe may be more established or maybe has a customer base that is not affiliated with you, once you can make a collaborative connection, those customers that know, like, and trust that brand, that affiliation will carry over into your brand, okay, provided you can show them that same quality and consistency. If you can affiliate your brand with more established brands or even, again, brands that are on the same level as you, but they're bringing in a new audience to you, that would help you motivate customers to buy. Okay, so that's one sales trigger that I want you to keep in mind. There are quite a few, and if you're not aware of sales triggers, like I said before, I'm doing the webinars in a couple of weeks, and the registration is open for that. But something to keep in mind, we as entrepreneurs wear many hats, and a lot of times where entrepreneurs get stuck is they put on the creation hat, right? So, they create that product or service, and that's what they know how to do. But then they get stuck when they have to put on the other hats. And eventually, we can get the PR agent. Eventually, we can get that person who's going to do our social media for us and our blog. But when we start off, we have to put these hats on ourselves. So if sales is not something that it comes naturally to you, you need to make a conscious effort to learn about sales, marketing, triggers, and what motivates people to buy. That's one thing that I want you to keep in mind. Number two, if you are, like I said, like me, you started off as a solo entrepreneur, really kind of gung-ho, as far as getting your business off the ground and just doing it on your own, you want to make a conscious effort to figure out how you can start to proactively collaborate with people, okay, so that you can move further, faster in your business career. So big C number 3 is connections, which is slightly different from collaboration because everybody you meet does not have to be a potential partner. You don't have to team up with everybody you meet. But it is important for you to meet more people, okay? So I talked about before when I talked about claiming it, one of my visions was I really wanted to be in a space where I was sharing on more information one-on-one, real-time with people, so I created She Rocks the Web. Another vision was the idea that I needed to meet more people off the web. I need to get outside of the computer world, outside of my home office, and really make more connections with people. I had to claim that. And so the process of naming it, claiming it, was the creation of Sister Sense Socials. I said, okay, well, I'm going to create these meetups, and I'm going to start meeting North Carolina women entrepreneurs. We're going to have a great time. And so I started the socials. Out of the socials, it went a little deeper, and now I have the local Sister Sense Power Circle, which is near and dear to my heart. Right now, it's an extension of 5 women, including myself, and we get together every month. We meet up. We just had a great session, and like I mentioned to you before, when I talked about one of the women who was actually in the Power Circle, and she said, you know what, I want to start, speaking. I said, you need to do a workshop, and that's what we did within the circle. We did her first workshop, and that's opening an opportunity for her to get her feet wet, figure out what she needs to do, how she needs to work it, and start moving towards more speaking engagements, more workshops for herself in the future. And so in creating the Power Circle for myself, that was an opportunity for me to get out there and do more things. Now, let me tell you 2 important things about my Power Circle, and I am telling you 2 because I'm trying to give you as many examples to hit home and resonate with as many of you as possible. I got a call from one of the sisters in the Power Circle a couple of months ago, and welcome to the call. I see somebody else is on the call. Please hit *6 so you can mute yourself and everybody can hear. Like I was said it before, a couple of months ago, I got a call from one of the ladies in the circle. She said, LaShanda, I have an opportunity to be on a television show, and we're going to be talking about social networking. They need a social media expert. Do you want to be on it? And I said, of course. And so that was my first national opportunity. I was on PBS, and I actually have the replay on Sister Sense. You can watch the whole 25, 30 minutes. It's on the PBS issue, the Black Issues show, and we talked about social networking and is it working for you. That opportunity came from a call from a woman in my Power Circle because I took the initiative and I prioritized making connections. And so, like I said, 1, hit *6 to mute yourself so you can hear the call and everybody can hear clearly. But 2, more importantly, these are big C's. These are the things that I feel are fundamental that you need to do if you want to create better businesses in this year and beyond. And had I not created the Power Circle, had I not really proactively started making connections with people, I wouldn't have been on PBS talking about social networking. Or even last week when I took a picture with Lisa Price, it's because I called my Power Circle and I said, ladies, Charlotte, I know it's 4 hours away. We've got to wake up 3 o'clock in the morning, but let's go. And they said, yes, we're going. And sometimes there are opportunities that may arise, and in this case, that was a great opportunity. But, it was a little bit much for me to go in 4, 5, 6 hours. I think we were on the road for 5 hours, driving, just kind of picking up ladies as we drove along. It happened because there were a group of supportive women that I could do it with. And it happened because I had an opportunity to share something with them, just like when they have opportunities, we share it amongst ourselves. And so I want you to think about who you can make stronger, powerful connections with. How are you going to reach out of your space and your circle and make some powerful connections with new people, not just old people, with new people before this year is over, so that you are, again, feeling like you're not just doing this alone or you're stuck, or sometimes we've got ideas, but one of the wonderful terms that they talked about last week at Black Enterprise is having like a soundboard, because a few people were asking questions, and when they came up and asked the question, the speaker would say, it sounds like in your question you already got the answer by asking it. So you just needed a soundboard, somebody to listen to your voice, somebody who could hear it and reflect it back at you so you could get some insight and really some clear understanding of what you're doing and how you can move forward with that. So again, I want you to think about, these little mini activities that I've got for you today. Write down at least one powerful connection that you could work towards making. Now, you may not know who this person is, but maybe you're just writing down the means to meeting that person. You say, okay, well, I have been meaning to go to that small business local commerce center, and I haven't done it yet, so I'm going to do that. I feel motivated on this call today. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go to that meetup finally. Or you say that, I have signed up to BBWO, and I've never actually sat down and really blogged or talked to anyone on the space, which, by the way, goes a long way. When we went into the Black Enterprise event, I have a few Black Enterprise connections there, and there were people who are members of the Black Businesswomen Online Social Network who just ran up to us as soon as we got in. Oh, my God, I can't believe you're here! Just so excited. And it was an opportunity to take those online connections and see them come to life in a real world space on a stronger, more powerful level. So don't, just kind of think that social media marketing is going online and going on Facebook and saying, can you like my page? Can you share this? Can you do that? Many a conversation I've had digitally, whether it be email or a blog or chat, that turned into a motivational moment, an opportunity, that I did a Facebook tweet that turned into Dawn Fitch, who's a BBWO member, at the event she spoke. She talked about how a Facebook tweet got her an interview in Black Enterprise, which led to her getting the cover on Black Enterprise. I blogged about that on Sister Sense. And I also talk about in the webinars that we're doing, She Rocks the Web, blogging for business. I talk about how a Facebook share got me in Ebony magazine, got me my first photo shoot in Ebony. And so really do not dismiss the value of the powerful connections you can make, whether it be on Facebook, Twitter, or social networking websites like BBWO, but they have to be real and they have to be genuine. So, again, they can't be Facebook likes. They can't just be like, hey, how you doing? You're so wonderful. Oh, my God, is that really Oprah? Is that Oprah? Hey, Oprah, oh, my God, I love you. It has to really strategically be consistently having conversations with people. And so even though you may not have physically met or may not physically meet for years, there are people that I met at BE last week that I never met in person until that point. The connections become real, and they do help you create better businesses in the long run. So, okay, I want you to, as I take a minute here just to kind of soak in some of the information that I've shared with you, I really want you to think about some of the questions that I'm asking you because, again, you know your business better than anybody else, and any money or marketing strategy I can teach you really is most powerful when you figure out how to apply it to your specific business. So, one, if you have a question for me before I get to number 4 and number 5, or if you have had an aha moment, if one of these C's you've written down something that you want to share, I'm going to give you 2 seconds to unmute yourself, which is *6, and just kind of chime in and let me know, again, any question you may have or any one of these C's that you feel like has resonated with you and you would like to share. And then we are going to move forward into 2 more really big and powerful C's for you. So just jump in, just hit *6. It's okay if people overlap each other. That happens on calls. You really don't know who's doing what. But I'm going to, again, give you like 2 seconds to do that and then have a silent moment. But if you want to wait until the end of the call, that's fine as well, too. Okay.
I have a question.
Sure. Hello?
Okay. Hi, yes. Okay, so when you're trying to make a power connection, you maybe email
wait.
or
Before you ask your question, introduce yourself so I know who's talking.
Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Carolyn Savage, and I own Mahogany Soul. I'm a natural hair stylist as well as I make my own hair care line.
Wonderful.
Natural hair care line. And but how do you make a connection where they don't respond? I mean, how many times should you continue to try to respond, or is it just I'm not sure because I've done it before in the past, and then they haven't responded at all.
I mean, that happens. There are times when you send something to someone and they don't necessarily respond the first time around. Two things I like to keep in mind. One, maybe that person is busy or they didn't get it, because in this day and age when it comes to email, spam can get really funky, and sometimes it goes to spam. So you can try the multi-social media approach, which is
right, the YouTube or something too. I did that.
Maybe a comment via YouTube, or then say, okay, well, maybe a direct email or Facebook, Twitter. Sometimes if it's somebody that I'm really trying to make a connection with, I will do the multi-social media response, because I might say, well, if they didn't get that email, maybe they see the tweet, or, maybe they see the other thing on YouTube, or whatever the case may be. And then also you can give it some time and then try again. I never just say do it once, because, again, there are so many different things that can happen. And I also never think that maybe it's just me, because you don't want to get in a space where you go, well, maybe they just don't want to follow up with me. You could always send a friendly reminder. I get those sometimes, because sometimes it's not easy for me to follow up, and I'll say, hey, friendly reminder, I had sent you a question, or I really wanted to ask you something about so-and-so. I don't know if you had an opportunity, if you saw that. Could be a week later. But, again, it gives you another opportunity to open up that line of connection. And then if that doesn't work, again, you may end up either connecting with that person at another point in time, or you just have to strategically figure out how to make another connection with somebody else.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So keep trying. If you do have any other questions, you can definitely star 6 to unmute yourself. I'm going to share one more thing before I get to number 4. So if you want to hit star 6 and interrupt me, that is quite all right. I'm talking about my power circle, and I actually have 2 power circles that I wanted to talk about today. One is the local circle here in North Carolina. So if you are a North Carolina resident, definitely go to ncwomen.sistersense.com, join the Facebook page so that you can connect with me and the other wonderful entrepreneurs that we have here. And if you are, wherever you are, I definitely would say find local women that you could connect with on some level, so you have a support team, especially when we work online and we get things like, you're not really working, because they think you're kind of sitting in your pajamas at home, or, well, what do you do again? Because, you work on the computer and they don't quite get it. Really having a group of women who get it and get you, I think, is significant on multiple levels. But outside of the local Power Circle, I also do the annual Sister Sense Power Circle Telesummit, where I get some of the powerful women in my circle together on a call. And this year we had 12 sessions. It was 12 hours long. Just some wonderful women. And so one of the ladies said to me, LaShanda, I realized I was going to events, and the women I was meeting were the women who were on the call. Deborah Owens, she's a financial expert. She was in Essence. She was actually a part of the Essence Top People social media people to know list, talking about finances, because she does the power of the purse. I just Facebooked today on the BBWO space. Michelle Shaw was just on Fox 5 sharing her expertise with respect to finances. And so really, you can either directly find a power circle, you can create a circle, or you can take advantage of circles that are around you that other people have created. And so that's kind of why I created the powerhouse that is the Sister Sense Power Circle. And if you haven't heard about it, or if you didn't get an opportunity to listen to different women who spoke with us this year, you can find that information at power.sistersense.com. Like I said, it was 12 sessions, and we talked about Google+, Pinterest, blogging, sales, finances, really just a wealth of information. One of the ladies, Beverly Mahone, she's also a North Carolina resident. The first year she heard it, I remember her talking about how much she got from it. And Beverly shares quite a bit of information because we all have an expertise. We all have quality information to share. And so she's a BBWO member. She consistently talks about working with media. She's been in television, and she has her own show. She's been doing that for years. And so as I saw all the wonderful posts and blogs and her consistency with that, I said, Beverly, you've got to be on, in the Power Circle this year. And so she went from listening to it one year to being a speaker the next year, because that's the power of really putting yourself out there, making connections, and letting it be known that you're an expert in your field. Maybe you're not an expert at marketing yet, or sales, or even Facebook. It doesn't matter. There's something that you know that you are awesome at. And in order for people to really see you and see you shine and share you and want to be connected with you, you have to be recognized, which comes to number 4. And number 4, big C, is credentials. Now, whether it be speaking, media recognition, brand partnerships, or new connections, quality credentials will help you seal the deal. And so sometimes people maybe are busy. Sometimes they didn't see the email. Sometimes maybe they didn't know how to respond. There's a list of different things. But a lot of times I know for me, emails that pop out of me are the people who I recognize. I talked about brand affiliations. And, when you can recognize a person or a brand, it definitely goes a long way. It helps in some way, shape, or form. Now, there are people that I recognize. They're not a brand or they're not a celebrity, but they're consistently showing that they are quality and they've got great information or a great business to share. And so I prioritize them when I see them. So number 4 for you is you want to figure out how to consistently be seen via your credentials, how to get your credentials out there as far as being a leading expert or having a quality product or service in your particular industry. Now, because we are web entrepreneurs, when it comes to credentials, we tend to do that by showing what we know through quality content, right? So on the Power Circle, one of the speakers was Tara. Tara, she's a freelance writer. She's written for Black and Married with Kids, Luke 21, Clutch. She knows what she's doing because she's a blogger full-time. And so one of the things that she talked about as far as quality content is really focusing on being original and being consistent, because everybody's trying to do what everybody else is doing and they're getting lost in the mess. So you really want to be original and consistent with what you do. And so when it comes to originality, I want to tell you a really great idea that Dawn Fish talked about at the Black Enterprise event. She said, Oscar time came around, and let me tell you a little bit about Dawn so I can flesh out this example for you. Dawn is the creator of Puka Pure and Simple, and that's a natural bath and body line. If you're a BBWO member, you can connect with Dawn on BBWO. And so she's always talking about how she can creatively market the business and do different things. So she said, take advantage of the different holidays and trending topics that are happening. She goes, during Oscar time, she said, I thought it would be a great idea for us at Puka Pure and Simple to have our own Oscars. So she created these Oscars for her products, and she said, I want you to nominate which one of the products you believe should get an Oscar, and she did a whole campaign around it, and it was amazing. It helped drive traffic, it helped create new likes, new tweets, and more importantly, it helped create new sales because it was something unique, it was different, it was fun, it was engaging, and that quality content helps to boost her credentials, okay? And so like I mentioned before, Tara had said, being unique and being consistent is really something that is important. Here are 3 questions I want you to ask yourself with respect to your content and consistency. What kind of content do you currently have online? Okay? Now, at She Rocks the Web, I talk about looking at the different types of content that are online. If most of the content for your business or about you online is created by other people, then that's a problem. You need to know that you are the master and commander and PR agent with respect to your presence online. So you want to think about the kind of content you have online, what it says about you, how it represents you. Most of the time if I type in your name and all I really see are like Facebook friend pictures and, social stuff, but nothing really that represents your business and your brand, again, that's a problem. How are you sharing your content online? Content creation is one thing. Sharing it is another, because essentially if people don't see it, that's not going to build your media recognition. So think about how you are currently sharing your content online, and is your content getting enough exposure? So if you're doing blogging or if you're sharing on, a space like BBWO or Facebook, is the material getting enough exposure? Are people seeing it, sharing it? What's going on with that? Is it helping you translate into more traffic, visibility, leads, all that good stuff for your business? So again, these are some questions to really reflect on and ask yourself, okay? So one of the best things that you can possibly do right now to create a better business is to figure out essentially what's working in your business, and we're talking about some of that today, but then what needs some work. So if you need to work on your credentials, you need to prioritize that for this year so that you can start getting the recognition, and in a lot of ways that recognition, I talked about me and being an Ebony or Dawn being on the cover of Essence, that recognition and that visibility can turn into media recognition, and that can in turn get more eyes access to you and your business and your brand. So I talk about that in more detail in the webinars for She Rocks the Web, specifically the Blogging for Business one, but I definitely wanted to take a moment and touch base on that today. So number 5 on this list, and just to quickly recap before I hit number 5, which is a big one here, we talked so far about the significance of claiming it. You've got to claim it, that one thing that you feel is going to get you to the next level. Collaborations, the importance of teaming up with other people or business owners, entrepreneurs, brands, so that you can work on initiatives that are beneficial to both of you and that'll help you move further faster. Number 3, connections, the significance of having more people in your space, not just partners, but people that you can pull on for support, you can work with, find opportunities, engage, the list goes on. There's power in networking and making powerful connections. Number 4, the idea that you need to have credentials, because truth be told, people want to talk about the people that everybody is talking about. And so a part of building your buzz is making sure that you've got enough quality and consistent content out there that people are sharing, loving, and engaging in, okay? That's a big priority. And so number 5 is customers. Obviously, every good business has a consistent list of customers. And one of the things that I do when I teach different money and marketing courses or, She Rocks the Web, the webinars, is I talk about my true objectives. And it's very simple. 1, I want to consistently build my list. Number 2, I want to keep my current customers happy. And number 3, I want to work on finding new customers. Those are the 3 things. So as an online entrepreneur, how I kind of block out all the craziness of people going, here, do this, do that, do this, do that, is I look at every activity and apply it to the true objective. When I do ... is it helping me either build my list, keep my current customers happy so they come back, and or is it helping me attract new customers? If it's not doing that, then exit off the list and go on to the new thing. Because I believe that, as a mom, I don't have that much time, between my family life and the business to mess around. I've got to make sure that I am as productive as possible. So being productive is really a big thing, and I talk about that on the Ready to Rock webinar, how you can be more productive in your business. But a big part of that is really this powerful statement of sticking to the true objective and focusing on only those activities that you feel consistently help you build your list, attract new customers, or keep the current customers you have happy, okay? And I try to make this as I get more specific when I go into specific topics like blogging or emails and signups or, Facebook or Twitter. But when I'm talking about business overall, I try to keep the concepts overarching so that it applies to more of the people that are listening on the call, and you can take out those pieces that you feel that you can plug into your specific business. And so here are some things today I want to talk to you as far as client attraction is concerned. One, if you want to find customers online, you have to be where customers are online. And it sounds simple enough, but it's a really powerful statement. And so I kind of equate this statement to thinking about, that guy who wants to pick up girls and, he goes to the bar because he goes, okay, the girls are going to be at the bar. And when they're not at the bar, he goes to the supermarket because he says, okay, well, they're at the supermarket and they're shopping. And in Greenville, which is where I live, they seem to be shopping at Walmart because it's like hookup central at Walmart when it hits a certain time at night. But that's a whole other story. Point being, single guys know where to find their target audience. And as online entrepreneurs, we need to do the same thing as well. So there are 5 spaces, okay? There are 5 possible spaces where customers frequent online. And I talk about that in the client attraction workshop, and it's 10 o'clock, so I can't talk about all 5 because we've already hit the hour, and I'm going to keep going until I get through everything. But I am going to start talking about where you need to go so you can find customers, okay? So right now, I talked about Dawn Fitch and how she was on the cover of Essence, and she was at the BE event. She was talking about social media because social media is big. And so you will find, yourself included, a big place that customers are online, social media platforms. I can't tell you how many times a day I am on Facebook. My son, I talked about back to school, and that's kind of the time that I do my back to business calls. So I was, with my son at school today, and then I spent most of the time in that area. I have my Facebook on my iPhone. So if I'm not, writing something or, taking notes, I'm like, okay, what's going on Facebook now? And so the key here is that you need to know where your customers are, and you need to be there. Keep in mind, we all are on Facebook in one way, shape, or form, so social media is important. But the other part of this equation is knowing where your specific customers are, okay? So I'm going to give you a really good example of that outside of social media, kind of bleeding into the other areas that I talk about in the webinar. But think about this. If you are an author and you have created a new ebook, a lot of your customers are on their Kindles and their iPads, and they're on Amazon, which is huge. And so I have a lot of people that I know who are interested in getting more exposure with respect to their books and their ebooks, but they're not on Amazon yet, or they don't have an ebook yet, or they have a book but it's not digital yet, so they can't put it on Kindle and they can't have that access. So you need to figure out not just where customers are, because I talk about all of those spaces, 5 in particular, but you need to find out with respect to your industry where your customers are online, because then you may find yourself spending a whole lot of time on a space that doesn't really reflect your target audience, and you don't want to do that, okay? And so one of the things I talk about is the power of social media, and I mentioned that, I'm on Facebook all the time, right? But the key when you're using a social media space is not simply just being there, but creating a place on that space where you are focused on a particular target audience, right? So with Facebook, you generally either want to have a Facebook fan page or you want to create your own Facebook group. So, the BBWO fan page, which to my complete surprise is just, growing exponentially. We're at like over 41,000 members, right, fans, and I call them members because I feel like they're members and they're consistently there all the time, but 41,000 fans. And I have the North Carolina group because, like I said, I claimed the significance of doing local activities and meeting people one-on-one, so I wanted to create a space on Facebook because I knew a lot of my people were there. But you can't just be there and be everywhere. You've got to be on the social space, but specifically creating a place for your target audience to be, okay? So if you don't know how to create fan pages or create groups, maybe you want to kind of get your feet wet by just joining a group that you know is of interest to your target audience. So I was talking to one of the ladies in my circle via email today, and she loves crafts. You know, she's a crafty sister. She's got her stuff on Etsy, and for her, my advice would be you need to find those creative spaces, those Etsy entrepreneurs, and where they frequent on a space like Facebook so that you can network with them, okay? So, again, it's not just about, okay, I created a Facebook profile page. I'm on Facebook. Woohoo! You need to be where your customers are, but really strategically find and pinpoint those places where they frequent. And if you can't strategically find this place, you create it, whether it be a fan page or a group, but make sure there's a space that's there. That's the first step. You know, collaboration, talking, relationship sharing, that's a whole other story, and I really planned on only doing an hour. But outside of the webinars, I'll talk a little bit more about She Rocks the Web in a bit, but outside of the webinars, I do have an audio series on social media money and how, as entrepreneurs and business owners, we can market ourselves on social spaces like Facebook. That information is at getsocial.sistersense.com. And essentially I talk about Facebook and Twitter, how I market on these spaces, how I build these followings of thousands and thousands of people without actually paying for advertising, and just really consistently using the spaces to build relationships and also boost sales, because you want to make sure that, you know, you're not on Facebook just kind of liking pictures of, you know, cute babies and cats, but you're strategically selling yourself. At the BE event, Dawn talked about one particular time when she did, you know, I talked about that Oscar activity. That was a really creative blitz. And she did another flash sale where she got 60% increase in sales in a half an hour because she did a sale on Facebook. And so you've got to figure out where your customers are, okay? And I'm just talking about customers right now. If you want to find customers online, you've got to figure out where they are. You have to either get your feet wet, join a group or of some kind, a target space or create a space for them. And then you have to think about different things that you can do to strategically get them engaged, because you can actually make money on these spaces and you can build your credential on these spaces, but you have to know how to do it. You've got to do it right. You cannot follow everybody. I have to say that, because first and foremost, if you do what everybody else is doing, you're not going to make any money, because most of the people doing it are not making money. You've got to do whatever that people who are actually making money are doing. So I'm going to share some recommendations. One, pick a platform that works for you, that you feel like is of interest to you and that you actually can understand, that it's not too confusing for you. I mentioned the Power Circle. On the Power Circle this year, 12 sessions, one of the sessions was on Pinterest and one was on Google+. I had a particular interest in both of these sessions and expert speakers talking about them, because I know nothing about Pinterest and Google+. They're not really my spaces. I love YouTube. I love to do video. I love Facebook. Like I say, I'm on there quite a few times a day, strategically marketing and engaging my BBWO followers there. If you're new to BBWO, by the way, the Facebook page there is, I believe it is facebook.mybbwo.net. I think. I've got too many websites, y'all. But you can just type in Black Business Women Online and on Facebook, and that should take you to the Facebook page. I think that's the easier way to go. But point being, I talked about having those speakers on the Power Circle because they were experts at Pinterest and they were experts at Google+. And so in order for you to really be productive and profitable on any space that your customers are at, you have to prioritize being on that space over a consistent period of time. So at DE, Dawn talks about social media, and she says she consistently does her social media marketing for 1 hour every day. I remember when my Facebook page was like 3 people, and I was like, this is so pathetic. I really need to do something. And so I said, you know what? My Facebook is going to be my world for a while until I figure out how to get this and do it right. So you've got to pick a platform that you feel like you can use, can maneuver, would enjoy being on, and perfect working on that space. I talk about quite a bit, my AdSense, and when I tried to get into Google AdSense, I think I made 43 cents over the course of a couple of months because I thought, well, just throw up the ads and it will work. It wasn't until I buckled down and consistently figured out how to do AdSense that I figured out how to make $10,000+ consistently every year as supplemental income from that. And so I always reiterate that, not just because people tend to, their ears perk up when they hear $10,000 from AdSense, but also because the key here is if you want Facebook to work for you or Twitter or any of these spaces, you really have to pick a platform and create a system so that you know that when you're on there, you're making money, you're making connections, and things are working for you. If you're on there and you feel like you're spending hours on there and nothing is working, it's because you don't have a clear system. And before the year is over, should be the thing that you prioritize to make your business better, figuring out how to figure out where your customers are online and work the spaces that they are at. So, again, find a space you enjoy, name that space, claim it, make it your own, and it can potentially help you to drive more traffic, visibility, and customers to your business. Goodness, I went a little bit over, but as always, I am here to share all the money and marketing recommendations that I have to help you get motivated and moving forward in your business. So right now, I would love to first say this. If you have a question, I want you to make sure you find your question, take note of it, because I will, in just a minute, say I want you to hit *6 and tell me what your question is. But before you tell me your question or ask me a question, I would love it if you thought about those C's, some C's in particular that resonate with respect to you and your business. If you could *6 and let me know what those C's would be. And, of course, if you have had any aha moments on this call, I love aha moments, when that light bulb goes off, like ding. Any light bulb moments or thoughts that you said, okay, well, that sounds like something that I can kind of integrate into what I'm doing now. If you would hit *6 and share that with me, that would be wonderful as well. So definitely do that. Hit the *6 key to unmute yourself. And if there's overlap, it's fine. And while I do that, I'm just going to share, while you do that anyway, I'm just going to share a few things with you. I did hear a beep. Hello? Okay. While you guys unmute yourself or get ready to anyway, I wanted to just say again, if you want to watch the videos or clips that I have, information that I have to share via the YouTube channel, that is youtube.com/LHenry, and there you can find the many videos that I've been posting over the course of the last couple of years of my different lessons learned being an online entrepreneur. And, of course, as I talked about throughout this particular call today, all the information I share is pulling from She Rocks the Web, and because so many people said to me, I would love it if you could do something that's online. In the next couple of weeks, I will be hosting the webinars on blogging for business. I'm going to be talking about customer attraction, sales. A big question I get all the time is email marketing, either how to create a newsletter or, how to put up a sign-up form on a page or get people, how to give away a sign-up incentive like a download or a video. So I'm doing a webinar just on email marketing. and all of that information is on sherockstheweb.com. For Labor Day weekend, this weekend, I have something special. I know, like I said, everything that we do is, it kind of resonates with me because, like I said, I'm a Black woman, mom, entrepreneur, and it's hard, and especially when you're doing things on a shoestring budget. And so for Labor Day weekend, in recognition of all the sisters in the labor of love, I'm doing a flash sale, 48 hours, where the She Rocks the Web webinars are actually 50% off, and you can register for them at $49. They are regular $95, and the workshops are actually 3 hours long. Each workshop has 3 sessions. And as you can tell, if I give this much in an hour, I actually go even more in-depth with the presentations and the downloadable worksheets. 3 hours, there's quite a bit of information that I kind of want to go through with you. And so for the next 48 hours, the flash sale is going on, and all the information of the different types of workshops that are going to happen within the next couple of weeks are at sherockstheweb.com. So if you do have any questions, or as I mentioned before, aha moments, I would definitely love to answer your questions and hear what you have to say. So just hit *6, unmute yourself, and we can have some conversation before we wrap up for today. I'm going to take a sip of water here because I think I've been talking for a long time. And I never quite get used to doing this. I know some of you know I have the Sister Sense magazine, and so the last issue I had the BBWO 50 Fabulous Women Entrepreneurs, showcasing some of the wonderful women on the BBWO network, and one of the articles was actually about She Rocks the Web and how I ended up losing my voice. I had planned everything to the T, not really anticipating that talking for 3 days straight I would lose my voice, but just talking about that you kind of never know how things are going to turn out, but you just kind of have to keep working on it consistently, and the idea that the show must go on, whether, you have a hiccup or something unexpected happens, the show must go on, and you just kind of have to keep working it and, see it to the end. But I am, again, really excited to have all of you on the call today. Like I said, for me, this is a combination of a labor of love because I've been doing this at Sister Sense and BBWO for so many years. But, when my spirit tells me to do something, I do it. And today it was like, do the Back to Business call today. And so I'm glad you all were able to see it and come on the call. I hope, what I had to share with you resonated with you in some way, shape, or form. I always say when it's quiet, that means that everybody has a wealth of information and they're ready to go and do more things and move forward. But I'm just going to give one more opportunity. If you do have a question, you can definitely hit *6 and let me know. But if not, you can always find me on BBWO or on the blog, which is Sister Sense, SistaSense.com. And there's a contact form there. Send your questions and your emails. Always love to get that feedback from you and support in any way that I can. So I guess this wraps up our Back to Business call for this year. As you know, it's my tradition, so I'm definitely going to have another one of these in the future. But like I said, any questions, just let me know. If not, good night, ladies.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, LaShanda.
You're welcome. Have a wonderful night, guys. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend. Lots of barbecuing and fun and business, too. Got to get back to business. Take care, guys.